The Hollow Between Walls, Part 2, The Whispers. By the end of the second week, Nora was living in constant unease. She tried to tell herself it was nothing, that old apartments had quirks, that loneliness made shadows crawl where they didn't belong. But the whispers weren't fading, they were growing. They came at night, just as she was drifting into the fragile edge of sleep. At first, they were muffled, indecipherable, like voices on the other side of a radio turned to low. But each night they grew clearer, and they always knew her name. On a Wednesday evening, exhausted from work, Nora slumped onto the couch with takeout noodles. She left the TV on for background noise, something cheerful and bright to drown out the gnawing quiet. But when she muted the commercials, she heard it again, soft, sliding through the walls like smoke seeping through cracks. Nora, she swallowed hard, turning the volume back up. Yet the voice didn't stop. This time it wasn't just her name. It was a sentence. "I'm right here." Her chopsticks clattered onto the coffee table. She stared at the wall, her chest tightening, the hair on her arms prickling. "This isn't real," she whispered. But the wall answered, "Yes, it is." The next morning, she avoided looking at the wall as she got ready for work, afraid of what she might see if she stared too long. She distracted herself with emails, meetings, and the hum of office life. But when she came home that night, her apartment felt heavier, like the air had thickened. On her kitchen counter, her phone lit up with a new message. It was from an unknown number. The text read, "Stop ignoring me." Her stomach twisted. She deleted the message, blocking the number. Maybe it was a prank, she thought. Some scam, some creep. Then a second text appeared. "I like when you read out loud." Her blood ran cold. She had been reading on her couch the night before. Alone, Nora's building had few tenants. She rarely saw anyone in the narrow halls. But that Friday, as she collected her mail, she caught sight of an elderly woman across the corridor. The woman was small, stooped with age, her hair a soft cloud of white. "New tenant," the woman said, her voice gravelly, her eyes sharp. Nora nodded. "Yeah, a couple weeks ago." The old woman studied her for a long moment before leaning closer. "Don't answer them." Nora blinked. "Excuse me?" "The walls," the woman whispered, her breath sour. "They talk, they've always talked, but don't answer. That's how it starts." Nora laughed nervously. "It's just the pipes or something." The woman's expression didn't change. "Keep telling yourself that, dear. But when you hear your own voice in the dark, remember what I said." That night, Nora piled pillows against her ears and tried to sleep. It didn't help. At 2:13 a.m., her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She squinted at the screen, heart hammering. A new text glowed in the dark. "Nora, open your eyes." Her pulse spiked. She squeezed her eyes shut tighter. A second text arrived. "I'm in the room." Her breath caught in her throat. She forced herself to roll over, fumbling for the phone, her hands shaking. She deleted the messages, shoved the phone into the drawer, and buried it under clothes. She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. On Saturday, she decided she couldn't keep pretending. She pushed her dresser away from the bedroom wall and pressed her palm against the plaster. Cold air seeped through cracks she hadn't noticed before. And there it was, again, her name, whispered low and intimate, almost like a lover. "Nora," she jerked her hand back, her pulse roaring in her ears. The voice chuckled softly. "You're listening now." When dawn broke, Nora sat at her kitchen table, pale and hollow-eyed, her untouched coffee growing cold. She tried to rationalize it all. The whispers, the texts, the warnings. Maybe she was sleep-deprived. Maybe her mind was fraying under the weight of loneliness. But deep down, she knew better. The voice wasn't her imagination. It was real. And it wasn't just in the walls anymore. It was learning her. It was waiting.